Are you leaving gains on the table by not eating a pre-workout or not eating the correct pre-workout meal? Let's talk about it. So, I'm currently eating my post-workout meal, which is an Americano, French press, black coffee, with 115 grams of oats, scoop of protein powder. I've then got berries, 100 grams of berries and honey on top. Now, I made this mistake for very, very long, not eating properly prior to a workout. And the best way I can describe it for most people to catch on and realise is, you know when you're working out, or say you go a run, and you feel great at the start, you're grooving, feeling awesome, and then you hit that wall where everything becomes harder. If you're running, you hit that wall and it feels like your legs weigh like 100 kilos each. It's really hard to just get the momentum. When I used to run, I would call it like going into zombie mode, because I'd literally be like hobbling along like a zombie. When you're working out, feel fantastic at the start, everything then just gets extremely heavy. And then you go home and you lie on the couch, you sit down and you don't move your arse for like half an hour, 40 minutes. Well, very good. That's happened because your levels of blood sugar have dropped and your energy stores that are in the muscles have also been depleted. So the way your body works is carbohydrates are one of the macronutrients, your proteins, carbs and fats. Now, you burn a ratio of these all at the one time. You don't ever just burn one macro, you burn them all at the same time. But it does depend on that ratio of what you're doing. Now, your body wants to run off of carbs. Your body finds that most enjoyable, it's the fastest fuel source to get for the majority of people. Most people, or some people, can do a high fat diet, low carb diet, and that works for them, but the majority of people cannot do that. So, carbohydrates, you eat them, you eat your oatmeal, you eat your fruit, you eat anything that's a carbohydrate. What then happens is that carbohydrate in the body turns into a sugar, right? So your body takes that carbohydrate and turns into sugar. That sugar is put into the bloodstream and it's also stored in the muscles as glycogen, right? So that glycogen is stored in the muscles because when you want to contract your bicep, it needs energy. So the muscles take the energy that's stored in the muscle because it's really quick compared to having to pull it from other places, right? Like when you're trying to lose fat. Instead of your body using the fat stores as energy, because that takes a wee while, it can just use the carbohydrates instantly. When you hit the wall, it's when those stores in your blood and within the muscles just crash. So you're depleted them, not got very much left. You're not out because you would die. You're not out of fuel because you store it in other places in the body, but it's no longer in the muscles. So that's when you have to refuel and refeed, and then after you get off the couch or after the run, you have something to eat or you have one of the gels, and then you start to feel better. And that's because you are fueling, or you're putting those carbohydrates that you're eating back into the muscles and they're getting filled up again, which makes you feel good. So the role that pre-workout meals have is that it will enhance your strength and enhance your endurance. I used to come home from a shift, whether that was, well, working in construction, or when I was younger, when I was working a retail job, and go straight to the gym, not having anything. There was a time where all I literally cared about was protein and forgot about carbohydrates and fats. They're really good. So, the purpose of the pre-workout meal is to make sure that you've got really as many carbohydrates as possible in your muscles prior to working out. This is why some people find that they work out better in the evening compared to in the morning, because they have eaten more, they've got more carbohydrates stored. Now, that is true, that's absolutely true, and most people do find that they work out heavier or work out harder in the evenings. However, you can still work out in the mornings, just maybe swapping your choices of what you're actually going to have. So I'll share some in a wee second, but I personally very, very much notice when I am fueled and eating well, I will set fantastic PBs in the gym. I will set big lifts, I will do big reps, I'll work out intense. When I'm not, I am tired, I cannot lift this heavy, I fatigue much faster. And then I usually choose to slightly lower the weights in the sessions and focus more on control and tempo instead of trying to be aggressive with the weights or the reps, trying to PB myself. Because if I've not eaten, I'm just simply not got enough fuel. Think about it as petrol in a car. If you're planning to go a road trip, but you've not put any fuel in the tank, or enough, there is going to be a point where your car runs out of petrol. Or you need to go to a petrol station and top up. Very much the same. Your car's going to start lagging, it's going to start sucking up oxygen, it's going to struggle to get as much fuel. You're going to be the exact same. So, carbs, really important in a pre-workout meal. I also like to get a bit of protein into my pre-workout meal, simply for the fact that that is going to be the thing that's going to build the muscle. That is going to be the thing after the workout that then helps your body recover, repair the tissues, and build the muscle off the back of it. It can also, your protein intake also has your amino acids, which are also very, very relevant for the recovery on the set straight away after a workout. So I would much rather have a larger amount of carbohydrates and a small amount of protein, and then probably for my post-workout meal I would have a larger amount of protein with a smaller amount of carbohydrates there. Now, having carbohydrates after, again, is going to replenish. If you've worked out really hard, if you've gone a really long run, you're going to need to get sugar in, or carbohydrates in, because it's going to stop you crashing and feeling like you're wiping the floor. I like to just have a normal meal after a workout. I don't really think about the post-workout meal as much as the pre-workout one. I like to just have a normal meal that I would normally have, because that way I'm getting protein, I'm getting carbs, I keep my fats low, and I'm also going to get my electrolytes in that as well. The best way you can get electrolytes in is just by making sure you're salting your food, you're seasoning your food, and you'll get the electrolytes you need. If you've sweat in the gym, if you sweat in your run, you'll need to replenish those electrolytes, and generally you can do that by just making sure you have a meal after. And that is very much going to boost how you feel, help you recover quicker, instead of going like hours and hours without eating and feeling pretty crap, or maybe going to bed without properly eating anything, and you won't have recovered really as well as you would have if you had ate something. It improves mental focus, truthfully, having a pre-workout meal. One of the things I find the most distracting in the gym, if I'm hungry, like when I'm cutting and I'm hungry and my stomach's rumbling, it really gets to my head. I know that I'm going to not be as strong. It's going to be something that constantly distracts me. It's going to be something that I'm thinking about, and that really isn't great. It throws me off. So just having something is absolutely better than having nothing. Having some fruit, I think, at least, if you are on a diet or cutting, then that's going to get some fructose into the bloodstream and make you feel better. And that, I think, is significantly better than having absolutely nothing at all. So like meals I go to, because I train in the morning, I will usually have cereal and a protein shake, some form of toast, jam, peanut butter and a protein shake. I'll maybe have this meal, oatmeal, but you really don't have to like just have, like, you see a lot of people speaking about rice cakes and things like that, or the squares bars. You don't have to have those. You can just have a normal meal that is carb based. So you could have your grilled chicken, rice and broccoli, your vegetables. You could have what I have, oatmeal. You could have a sandwich It's got some protein, but it's also got carbs and lettuce and vegetables through it to get even more. I really like sweet potato, great choice, tends to digest well, got plenty of carbs in it. Eggs with toast, maybe beans for fibre. Like, these are just normal meals, and if you track them in MyFitnessPal and you learn how many carbohydrates are in the meals that you normally eat, you can just decide what is it you like to eat, and then maybe have that prior to a workout. Quick snacks are like bananas and peanut butter. Rice cakes can be really good with honey and a protein shake. I like that one. Yogurt and granola with berries on top, or sometimes if you want even more carbs, put honey or jam inside of it and mix it through. That's really nice. Smoothies are really easy on the stomach. They're really easy to digest. You don't feel like you're going to the gym bloated, and they have a crap ton of carbs in them because all the fructose and all the sugar from the fruit. You can also put some protein powder in that as well, but it does depend on like how full you like to be. Being full and me working out doesn't impact me, but I know it impacts some other people and makes them feel sick, or it actually does throw up. So being sensible with like learning how much your body can eat prior to the gym. How does that feel when you're working out? Is that a positive return and you're feeling strong and you're able to perform well, or have you eaten too much and you feel like you've got your stomach's churning, you feel upset, and it's kind of distracting you, or you might actually throw up. So like, be sensible, but I like to gauge it off of like, if you track your calories, well, you know that maybe 150 grams of carbs is too much. Maybe go a wee bit less, maybe go a wee bit more, and that is very individual, but you can only really know that if you're tracking your calories. But I do very much think that if you are consistent with hitting your calories day in, day out, hitting your macro balance, there's no reason why you can't work out in the morning. I work out in the morning on an empty stomach, but that's because I know that the day prior I've eaten a lot. I'm on a bulk, so I've got plenty of energy, I've got plenty of stores in the muscles. I'll maybe have a couple of bits of fruit in the morning or a quick bar, but I can work out really intense on that. If I know it's going to be a really hard workout, like leg day, or I'm going to be training with someone, I'll absolutely make sure I train in the afternoon and I have plenty of at least 3 meals prior to the workout, so that I've got as much energy as possible. I can be feeling as good as possible. And the last thing I really wanted to speak about was caffeine is not an essential nutrient. You do not need caffeine to work out hard. You do not need to take a Monster or a pre-workout to push extremely hard, and at some point it probably will become detrimental if you're having to take 300, 400, 500 milligrams of caffeine just to be able to work out. There is positives to it. It can get you to the gym, it can give you that mental edge, but it's not essential for training, for growing muscle. I think some people forget that. I do have a cheek because I am drinking a coffee. However, I really like French press black coffee. So having a great pre-workout meal can give you the energy, can protect your muscles, can keep you focused, can speed up your recovery, can build more muscle. There's a lot of benefits. So don't be like me, don't neglect it for years and years. Get on it, implement what I've covered here, and it's okay. Sometimes you'll miss your pre-workout meal, but the majority of the time you're hitting it, and you're hitting it well. You're going to train well, and you're going to grow some badass muscle. So if you've not already, be a wee bit more conscious, put a wee bit more of an effort into your pre-workout meal.